Hello, my name is Sam Johnson. I have a master's in Spanish linguistics, and today I'm going to teach you about present tense verbs in Spanish. So first, let's talk about the parts of a verb using hablar. There's first the root. This is the part of the verb that conveys the semantic meaning of it. So in the case of hablar, this is to speak. Habl is the root. And we'll see how this breaks down even further in a bit. There's the thematic vowel. A is the thematic vowel in hablar, a. And then there's the ending, which is the ending for infinitives. There are three thematic vowels in Spanish. There's a, e, and I. You'll normally be taught this as three groups of verbs in your Spanish class in high school or university. However, I think it's really useful to think of them as just another part of the verb, because as we see, the endings of the verbs are actually very consistent across the three groups of verbs. So we have a, e, and I. You might also ask yourself, what is an infinitive? It's the base form of the verb. So if you look up hablar, for example, in the dictionary, you will find that this is the base form, right? If you look up, you're not going to look up hablamos or habláis or something, or hablaron. You're just going to look up hablar, to speak, right? Just like in English, we don't look up the word speaking or speaks. So the base form of the verb. It's non-finite, right? So as opposed to if you say hablo, which is the first person singular form of the verb, I speak, this implies a singular number. Or if you say hablamos, there's a plural number, right? So a finite number is, included in the description of the verb. However, infinitives are, by definition, non-finite. They have no number. Now let's dissect two verbs to explain this. Nadar means to swim. So if we dissect the verb nadar into its three parts, we have nad, which is, the swimming semantic part of the verb. A, which conveys what group this verb is in. And which says, hey, I'm an infinitive. We can do the same thing with conjugated verbs. So mor y mos, mor being the root, I being the thematic vowel, and mos being the plural present first person ending. Now that you can see the template, let's represent it this way. The root plus the thematic vowel plus the ending. All Spanish verbs follow this template. Note that the ending can be divided into further parts, and that no ending or the thematic vowel is also an ending. So we'll see this in a second when we look at our sample verbs. Okay, so hablo, hablas, habla, hablamos, habláis, hablan. All right, so we separate the two parts. Hablo, right? So notice here, there's the thematic vowel is missing, but we do have the ending, right? Just, that's okay. That's how things work in linguistics sometimes. We have hablas, so your ending, technically, you could think of it as just the ts, meaning second person, singular, informal. And then the a there is just the thematic vowel. The same thing goes with, the inverse, I could say, of, the first and the second with the third person, singular, habla. There is no ending per se, but that non-ending is often referred to as an ending in linguistics, so habla. And we can just look at the other examples, hablamos, habláis, hablan, and see that a similar pattern is occurring here, where we have our endings that actually communicate the grammatical person, and we have our endings that indicate the number as well, singular or plural. Let's compare this to comer, right? So como, same thing as hablar, but comes, right? This there is still the same. The only difference is the thematic vowel, the e, right? So hablas versus comes. So we have the root plus the thematic vowel plus the ending. The same thing with come, right? Root, thematic vowel, ending. Habla, root, thematic vowel, ending. Even no ending is an ending. So it's basically the same pattern if you think of this with the thematic vowels in mind. The IR verbs are a little bit different because, as you can see, we have vivo, vivimos, right? Keeping that I there as our thematic vowel, and vives, But that's an A, that's not an E. We don't say vivis. That's the vosotros second person plural ending. And I think it's a little bit, I think you could make the argument, you could debate that the IR verbs and the ER verbs are actually in the same category because of this. But nonetheless, the IR still, the I still manifests itself as a thematic vowel in the IR verbs, right? So we have vivimos and vivis. I'm not sure whether this is grammatical or a phonetic rule, but it's there nonetheless. And if it helps you to think of this as a third verb group, that's fine too. However, I think of it as kind of like ER verbs with a different thematic vowel sometimes. But as you can see, the O is there, the ts is there, the no ending is there, the mos is there, the accent is there, and the thematic vowel N is there, right? So this is the same pattern across them, right? So hablo, hablas, habla, hablamos, habláis, hablan, como, comes, come, comemos, coméis, comen, vivo, vives, vive, vivimos, vivís, viven. When to use the present? When something is currently happening, right? So if we're talking about things that are happening at the present moment in English, we tend to use the present progressive, right? So if Juan is swimming in the pool, we don't say Juan swims in the pool. That would almost imply something he does regularly. We would say Juan is swimming if he's actually doing it. However, in Spanish, you can just use the regular, normal, vanilla present tense. Juan swims in the pool. Juan nada. Juan swims en la alberca. He swims in the pool. Alberca. You can use it to describe capability. So if Juan speaks Greek, Juan habla griego. This is the same as in English, right? If we say Juan can write, Juan escribe. Juan puede escribir. And we use it for recurring events, right? Juan nada cada sábado. Juan swims every Saturday. If you say this statement on a Friday, it's still a true statement, right? So Juan swims every Saturday is true even if you say it on a Friday. It's describing the recurring event, not necessarily the present. I hope that you found this useful, and muchas gracias y hasta el siguiente video.